Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. Let me fix my mouth. One moment. I keep forgetting to click the button, I swear. Oh no, I did click the button. There's just shenanigans. OBS says that my mic is working, so I don't know, maybe today will just end up being a telepathic stream. I'll try to fix it. One moment here. I swear, I cannot escape the scuff. Okay, I made it work. Cool. Alright, all is well. Okay, so, back to this picture. I wanted to do something weird. I like it. But now I have to, you know, take it from this to something sensible. That other people will actually be able to understand. That's gonna be an adventure. But you know what? I like adventures, so I might as well get started. I think I have the face pretty well clarified. Her head might be a little bit big, or maybe I have to do, you know, some, like, weird stuff like this. Let me just see if I can kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about real quick, but I might need to do something weird like this, where I just really amp up the perspective here. Maybe even push this in a little, I don't know. But, you know what, I'm not ready. I want to get all of this stuff sensible before I start worrying about whether or not her head is too big, or not perspective enough, or, you know, whatever else my brain is telling me. I gotta make sense of her body, and right now it's a massive color. The colors are lovely, but it's gotta be more than that. So I'm gonna start there. So first thing first, I think the perspective on this cake is not nearly cool enough. So I figure I should start there, because that is a nice little focal point. Where the heck did I put it? Okay, the spoon is on the top. I got it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make one side super large, and then the other side is it's gonna go like this. It's gonna be really weird, but you know, hear me out here. It is gonna go right into the viewer's face, and I think it'll be fantastic once I get it right. I'm definitely not gonna be able to get it right with the perspective tool, so, you know, don't worry about it. But I can get it started with the perspective tool, and that'll make the rest of my life a little bit easier. And so that's kind of what I'm going for here. There we go. That is going, like, right in. So, that is perfect. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, even. And then I'm going to do something similar with the spoon. I have a transparency mask, huh? Okay, that's just for the hand. Alright, I don't need to move that around. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I only want, like, the spoon part of the spoon, not the handle. Okay, I'm gonna invert the color on the cake real quick. Alright, so just so this way I can see how the spoon is pointing. Everything about this point is just trying to make things make sense to me. And, you know, out here, I think, is a good place to start. Like I said, this is the foreground. This is something people will see quite clearly, and I might need to move the spoon over, and that's okay. I can make that work. I can make that work. Oh yeah, I like this a lot though. I really like where this is going. I'm not sure if anyone but me can see what's happening here, but I like where it's going. I like it a lot. I think it's gonna be great. I don't know, but at least she's not eating chocolate this time, so it's fine, right? She's just gonna give you some yummy cake. Yeah, don't you want to eat the yummy cake? It looks so nice. Okay, so I'll start with that. Let's go move everything over now. I'll need to move... Will I need to move that? I don't think I do, actually. So we'll just scooch it over a little. I even like kind of how crooked it is. I think that's fantastic. I will kind of get it at the right angle, though, but yes. Yes, something like that. I'm a little bit sad that we don't see her hand underneath the spoon anymore, but you know what? I think it's worth it. I do. Or maybe I just need to make the picture a little bigger. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. I'll worry about this last once I have everything else kind of figured out compositionally. Because I still only kind of know where I'm going with this, so... No, that's not true. I have a pretty clear conception of everything. I just have to make it make sense. Basically, I know what's going on, but now I have to fool everyone else into believing that all of this is happening. Yes. Yes. That's the good way to put it. But yeah, the idea for this, I saw someone calculate during Bibi's debut stream how many cakes she must have fed us during her the intro screen. And I think they said it was like around 200. And I'm just like, you know, that's a perfect idea for a picture like this. She's just gonna, you know, feed all of the cake. Gotta be so much freaking cake. This is someone that would force feed you 200 cakes. Yes. Okay. No, actually. No, it looked better before. Can I go back? No, I can't. Okay, I just have to make it work from here. That's fine. If I was doing sensible perspective, this would be great. But I made the perspective way too sensible for what I'm going for. So I gotta fix it. But that's fine. I can do that. Let's really get this out here. I don't want the perspective to make complete sense. Normally I do, which is why I think I kind of gut reactioned into doing it like that, but no. It's not what I want here. Okay, you know what? I'm going to draw it normally. And then I'm going to skew it again, and then I'll fix it up, and I'll probably go back and forth for a little bit, but this is important. So I want to make sure that I get it real nice. So we got the strawberries in there. There we go. That's a cake. Okay, so let's see if I can make this a little bit more how I want. So this side needs to come down, but this side needs to really come out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on, triangle. Just do not fear. Just come straight out. Oh, that's absurd. I love it. I do. Let's see. I don't think I can do this with the perspective tool. I'm gonna use it as kind of a stencil for what I'm going for. Oh god, I got a cough. Hold on. Still sick, but I'm getting there. I swear, these kinds of illnesses are like the hardest to shake. Also, I almost forgot because I was so excited to start working on the picture again. But it's Christmas! I won't be here tomorrow due to festivities. So I'll just, you know, wish you all a Merry Christmas right now. Merry Christmas, everyone. Whether you celebrate it or not, I hope you have a good day. As far as I'm concerned, every day can be a special day if you try hard enough. What am I trying to do? Okay, I'm gonna go back to having it like that. The idea is in my head, and I must draw it now. I must. Okay, let's try again, but I think I know what to do. Let's see, a bright red. No, I think I want hot pink. This is a job for hot pink. Okay, so let's see if I can figure this out. So the pattern that I really liked had something like this going, where we had like, I'm gonna draw the top of the cake here, and then it just went like way out. This part almost looked sensible, and then I just had this part coming way out. That just looks skewed. Okay, maybe I do need to mess with the cake. Look, I have never tried something this ridiculous before, but I really, really like it, so I want to make it work. So I'm gonna try really, really hard here. Even by my standards, I am going... I want to try very hard, because I think that this will be very cool if I can get it right. Go for something, you know, properly unhinged. Oh yeah. Can I clean that up and make that nice? Gonna point it a little bit more towards us. And then I think... gonna hide the spoon for a second just so I can see a little bit better. Okay, so let's get this really pointed at the viewer. I gotta do the same with the frosting here. I'm gonna hide the strawberries for now. I just want to... And you know what? I'm gonna hide Bibi for now, too. Oh, do I not have her... Oh, I see. Okay, so I can't easily hide Bibi. Well, I can fix that. There. Okay. Now, it is just me and the cake. All alone. Where everything will be easy to see. Okay. Gonna clean up my pixel dirt and continue from here. So, you know, it'll probably take me a second to really understand this, but unironically, I do think it's worth it. This will be so cool. I love weird perspective. It is amazing. It is the best. That's why I keep doing it. I will never stop. I still don't feel the back part going down, though. Because basically, can I explain what I'm trying to do? I guess if I consider this from the side profile, we'd have, you know, the girl leaning towards us, holding out the cake, and trying to, you know, force feed it. And then the viewer's face is like right here, right? So this is going like right into the viewer's face. So we're getting some very, very strong perspective here. And that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. This is why I say I have a vision, and now I have to make it work. Thus declares me. So... I have to try things. I must. Okay, so I have my hot pink. Oh no, that's not the hot pink I thought this was. Is it you? Probably. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. So if I'm thinking in terms of a triangle here, so I'm basically picturing something like this, where it goes way out, and then maybe we see just a tiny sliver of this side just going way back. And then this will come back like this. And I want it to be angled upward, right? Like when I did my little doodle up there, you know, Bibi was raising her hand upward. So I want to get that feeling too. So this needs to come back. It's just hard because this is wider than this. So I'm trying to think about how to make that work. And I think if I do it like that, and then I bring this up a little, I don't know, does this do what I want? Maybe. Let's see if I can kind of fit this into that. And see what it looks like. I don't know, I think that's about right. And then I just put the strawberries in. This isn't bad, I just kind of need to fix it and have things skewed the right direction. So I'm gonna kind of leave these in as a template. Oh no, I don't even have to do that. I literally can just skew them. Nice. And then just from the slight bit that we see on this side, bring the strawberry on the other side here in. Okay. No, I like where this is going. Oh, I have some frosting on the cake layer. That's not something I want. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna cough. Man. God, I hate being sick. Can't do anything when you're sick, I swear. Becomes way harder to think through weird perspective shenanigans like this. I think I want the frosting to be a little bit higher up. It's kind of coming down. And then there'll be like these nice little frosting dollops on the back here. I do have a picture of Bibi's cake up, right? Oh, the frosting dollops are red. Okay. And there's only 2. I'm not going to try to perspective this right now, because that sounds like a nightmare, so let's just draw them normally for the time being. They almost look like little devil horns like this. It's kind of cute, but I want them to be, like, pointing the wrong direction. This is another one of those, just hear me out here. I can make it work. But there we go. Yeah, I think this is about what I want. So I'm gonna start putting in the black. Since, you know, everything will be kind of shaded with black at some point. I'm gonna just start putting it in. Because I need to be able to divide this all from Bibi herself. Is there anything else on this cake? Nope, this is about it. And actually, there's 2 pairs of strawberries. Wait, that's weird. That's incredibly rude, I just noticed. The cake on the table is not the cake that is being fed to the viewer. Where the heck did she get that cake and the spoon? The strawberry pattern does not line up. On the cake, on the table. There's like... Okay, hold on. I have to get my browser. One moment, please, because this is something else. Okay, so if we come down here and I hide this for a moment, look, right next to my face here, you can see the cake. Did you see my cursor? No. Okay, well. Why do I not have the cursor showing there? I should be able to do that. Capture cursor. It should. Rude. Okay. Well. Hopefully it's clear. But look! There's 3 strawberries on the cake at the bottom. And then there's 4! And, 2 pairs, rather. Or rather 2, I guess. I guess that center part is supposed to be like, something. But they don't match. They don't match! Terrible, man. Alright. Well, I'm satisfied here. I'm gonna go with the 3 strawberries. But I will actually be drawing the cake on the table, not the cake on the spoon, because, who knows where that cake came from. Can't trust anything this dog does, I swear. Alright. But, yeah, I think that's roughly doing what I want. I think I'm showing a little bit too much of this side. So I'm gonna kind of bring that down. I'll fix the strawberry later. I'm not gonna line the strawberries right now. They're not really important. They're not, running up against the rest of the picture, so they'll just kind of hang out there. It's all good. Okay. Still think I want this to come down a little bit more. Can I do that without just breaking everything? Let's find out. Sure can. Cool. Okay, and then I'll just use Liquify to fix the last little thing that's bothering me. I want to lift up the frosting here. And pull it forward. Push this corner down. I am totally gonna have to fix the frosting at some point, but you know what? That's fine. I think it's clear enough what's happening. And that's all I'm really going for right now. I just need a little bit of clarity, so that this way I know how to render things later. I will do what it takes to get the perspective on this cake right, because I think it'll be fantastic. I do. Okay, and then I think I probably just need to make it a little bigger. Let me see, I think I still want to pull out the front. Probably show a little bit less of the side, so I will thin out the strawberry there. We show any of that side, actually. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I think in my initial perspective it did, but now it's changed a little bit, and now I don't think we see any of that side. Okay, so there we go. Something like that. I think that's pretty good. I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, so now we can turn Bibi and her spoon back on. And I have to do something similar with the spoon. So, wish me luck. Alright. Alright. Let's see, I kind of want to make her just a little bit smaller here so I have a little bit more room for the spoon. I need to get the shape too. Just gonna make everything just a touch smaller. It might end up a little smaller even still, depending on what I want to do with this hand. But like I said, I'm gonna decide that later. I don't think it's important right now. Okay. Spoon time. So first, I kind of want to get the black part in here, and here we go. But you know, as promised, we're doing weird perspective today. And that's going to be most of what I do today, because I know that figuring this out is going to be an adventure. Come on, there we go. I don't know why they kept insisting that I wanted to hide, or that I wanted to double click. It's like, no, I just wanted to hide to show the transparency mask. Okay. I'm just perpetually afraid that my computer's dying. Because it's been acting weird. And I don't know why. So I really hope it's not. That would be, you know, deeply unfortunate. Okay. So now I can mess around with it. Pull this out. Push this back. Oh, okay. No, but I need to get the spoon part. Just the spoon part, not the handle. Okay. Ooh, but that is so good. I like this. I like it so much. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic. I want it to be a little bit wider or longer than the cake. And I think once I increase the size here, that will give me exactly what I want. I'm gonna rotate it just a little. Gotta cough again. Oh man. It's okay, you know what? I'm doing a lot better than I was yesterday. So that tells me that within the next couple of days, I should be back to normal. And you know, last night was the first time in the last couple of nights where I was actually able to sleep because I wasn't constantly coughing. Yeah. So, I'm feeling pretty good today. I am glad, because this would be really, really hard if I was sleep deprived. Please, come out more. A little more, and then I think it'll all be there. So I think that this is pretty good. Let me just... I kind of like that we don't see a lot of the backside of the spoon here. Just because the perspective is so weird. It is so strange. And I think that this is pretty much exactly what I wanted. And I will have to kind of... Oh, I have both gold right now. Whoops. I will kind of have to define where the inner part of the spoon is. So I'll do that kind of like this. So you know how it kind of dips down, and that's the part where you can put your soup? Yeah, that's the part that I want to make clear here. And I think, personally, I think that having the inner part like that, just completely black, makes it look a little more. And I want a good amount of ominous stuff here. that is what I am going for. So I think that this has helped making it happen. And by making it really, really thin like that in the back, I think it even helps sell the perspective. I do. Okay. So I will put a quick line around this. Just once again to hopefully separate things from the rest of her. But it's going to be quick. I'm not going to be very particular about anything yet. Okay, so now this ribbon. This ribbon's going to have to come up and also be a stranger. Because it is attached to the spoon. It does need to sit on top of the spoon, just because it needs to be on the other side of the handle. There we go. So I think that shows that the spoon is coming really, really far forward now. So I think that's exactly what I want for that. I do need to fix the little ribbon tail. I'll let that kind of drape over her hand. And now I think I can let things get a little bit more normal again. So we'll see if I have a slightly easier time from here on. Okay. But yeah, I think that's exactly what I want. It's coming right for us. It's very strange, but it is coming right for us. All right. I still might need to move this around a little bit. Let me see. Can I point it in a slightly different direction? Not easily. Okay. I just want to point it very slightly different direction. But yeah, really not easily at all. Unfortunate. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'd say making it curved makes sense, but then I remembered that, you know, this style says no curves allowed. You know what? That's fine. I will deal with that later. That'll be... Decurving this will be a job for future me, but right now the curves really do something cool. So, there we go. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. We'll see if I change my mind in 3 minutes. You know, as I do. And I think this side of the spoon is a little bit too wide. Let's kind of send this back and just really make the front of the spoon come right before us. Actually, you know what? I feel like you are not coming up properly, so I gotta fix that too. Let's see. Basically, I don't feel like it is pointing upward, and that's the problem I'm trying to solve right now. Because I you know, I want it to look like it's coming right for our face, and all that. And I do think that that means that she is probably pointing the spoon upward. I don't know, whenever I put stuff on a spoon in my mouth, it's always pointed slightly upward for me. As much as I try to keep it horizontal, it rarely works for me. So I just want it to be slightly up. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come, be pointed in the right direction. I believe in you. Okay. And here, I think I have to do the rest via a bit of liquefy. I don't mind making the spoon look a little pointy. I don't in the slightest. We'll make the black part kind of come out a little further around here. I'm probably just going to have to draw that. That's fine. I can do that. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's something like that. I think that's even better than what I had before. So I still like this. I'm probably going to be tweaking this for a while. Every time I'm just looking at it like, I'm not quite sure if that's right. And that's fine. I mean, it's a weird thing. It's very weird, right? It's definitely not something that I'm used to. I'm just going to redraw those. It is not something that I'm used to, so by default it's hard. And that's okay. You know, I'm not gonna run away from the hard things. I never do. Never. So it's okay. I'll just keep tweaking it until I'm satisfied. But I do feel like it gets better and better every time. So that makes me happy. That makes me very happy. Okay. Now then, back to what I was doing before. Back to the spoon. Where's my ribbon? There it is. Okay, I need to get a little bit of black lines going on this guy. Just in order to make it all make some amount of sense. And separate from the rest of the drawing. Okay, there we go. And from there, let's try to figure out this hand. This hand is going to be a little bit of a thing, so I'm nervous. Although, actually, you know what? Before I even do that part, I'm going to connect the handle of the spoon again. Let's get him in there. I hid my transparency mask. This way I can kind of see what I'm doing. I do think that... Yes, this kind of thing is basically what I want. I have the handle here. Super thick as it gets higher, as it gets forward there. And then it's going to get like super thin and kind of turn into nothing. And I will make that little circle bit on the back just very... And even that's too big. I was going to say just very, very small. In order to make it look like it's going real far back there. I feel like when it comes to weird perspective tricks like this, it's about taking sane perspective and then amping it up to 11. So we're just making the difference between what is close and what is far so ridiculously exaggerated that it does stuff like this. And because it is so ridiculously exaggerated, that also means that the stuff that goes further back has to be exaggerated just as much. Incidentally, this is also why I made her head really big, because I wanted that to come further forward, and I don't think it's coming further far enough forward yet. That's why at the start of the stream, I was like, her head feels a little bit big, but I'm not going to mess with it yet. I knew something like this would happen. I knew what was in my mind. And I was pretty sure that it was okay, actually. Okay. How do people hold spoons? Alright, well, let me get the black lines around it first. I'll leave it there for now. We'll put on, you know, all the nice other little decorations and stuff a bit later. This ribbon might need to be a little bit bigger. I don't know yet. It's okay. Okay, so the way I'm gonna do this is I have this transparency mask on the spoon layer, and that's where her fingers will overlap it. But first, I have to remind myself how people hold spoons. Let me see. So I'm gonna pretend like I am feeding my monitor or something. Okay. I am feeding my monitor my tablet pen. It should give me a general gist. And I can even look at the screen here. Can I get a different frame? No, I don't have the right frame here. Alas. I could probably find it real quick if I was so inclined. Ooh. GIF form. Okay. Okay, but it's not the right frame, alas. Okay, I'd have to open up a stream, which honestly is probably okay. Give me just a moment here. You're probably gonna hear the music in the background. There we go. Oh no, this is just highlights. This isn't the actual intro screen. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, give me a moment. Look, I am nothing if not dedicated to accuracy. Okay. Alright, there we go. And now I can safely mute it. Alright, what does your hand look like? Fingers on top. And a thumb on the side. Huh. People normally hold spoons like that? I guess I can see it. Okay. But now I have a hand reference. So, you know what? That'll actually be kind of helpful. Because I think the hand here is going to be something. Alright. Oh god, how the heck am I going to do this? I need to make this ribbon bigger. Let's procrastinate. Okay, and I need to move it. It's going to be coming down like over here. It's going to be behind the spoon, so I need to cut off part of it. I guess I'll draw it normally and then I'll put another mask on. So we're going to make this part really big. This part also kind of big, but not as big. It'll come meet in the middle here. I like the way these tails are. They still look a bit strange, but I think I'll be able to clean those up nicely when the time comes. God, this hand here it's going to be such a thing. And then, in terms of what we see the opening of the ribbon here, and over here. And it'll be something like that, and then I will just add a transparency mask to it. Because I don't trust myself. Okay. So the spoon is gonna wrap around like this. And this, I think, will also push it even further forward. Which I think is pretty cool. Okay. Okay. I think I could see it. It's just very messy. But you know what? At this stage, that's fine. It can be pretty messy. Okay. Back to the hand. So in order to get that done, I'm gonna go hide the arm layer. Where do I even have the arms? Here they are. Okay, I'm gonna hide the arm frill. Hello there, cakes. Welcome back. It is time to draw some hands, and I'm terrified. Because this perspective is nonsense, and I kind of love it. But unfortunately, nonsense perspective means I gotta do some weird stuff. Oh, it's all good. You know, I always say, streams should be fun. So, you know, just come by when you can, and when it suits you. Oh, congrats. Drawing tablets definitely make drawing on the computer much easier. I don't know what I'd do without my pressure sensitivity. Okay, my nose is super plugged. Give me just a moment here. I'm gonna be right back because, man, I cannot breathe. So, I gotta deal with that. Give me just a moment here. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that, but now I can talk again, and I don't sound weird and nasally. And I appreciate that. More importantly, I can breathe. So, you know, breathing is important to figuring out difficult things like hands. Yes. Okay. So the goal here is to get her hand to wrap around that spoon properly. I pause immediately, because, you know, of course I do. It's tricky. But I do have a solid reference here. So what I want to do, I'm gonna just start over here. And I want to have it so that her thumb is on one side and the side of her finger is on the other. So Let's see. Let's see. I don't think I want it on top of that ribbon. Yeah, I want the finger to stay behind the ribbon, so I'm gonna cut it off there. So there's like where the the finger's gonna go. And then the thumb is wrapping around kind of like this. And I will let the hand later handle its own lines. And once again, I will not be letting it cover up the ribbon. And the thumb will be coming right towards us, so just for the sake of making things easier for me to see, I'm gonna go put in some fingernails. I always like to do that whenever I'm having trouble with perspective on hands. It makes it a little bit easier for me to picture it in my head. So we're gonna have a nail kind of curving around like this, and it'll come down to about there. And then we'll see a little bit of the fleshy part of her thumb on the tip, just right over there. And I'm having a hard time seeing it, so she gets black fingernails now. Actually, you know what? No, they're gonna be hot pink. They will be white by the end, but for now they can be hot pink. Yes. Yes, that is perfect. Okay. Even though I'm feeling better than I have all week, the remaining stuff in my chest and throat is like super duper thick, and I keep kind of choking on it, so but we'll see if I'm able to stream like this. Unfortunately, I just legitimately might not be able to, because I kind of hate having to stop to cough every few minutes. And if I can't talk, I can't really stream. I mean, I guess I could just draw in silence, but that does not sound super duper interesting. So I would like to avoid that if I can. Okay, and then the rest of her fingers are going to be hidden by the ribbon here. Now, the way I have this, I'm actually going to... I'm going to do this a little differently. I think I'm just going to put this onto the spoon layer instead. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move this mask onto the spoon layer. Just so that this way I don't have to worry about accidentally hitting the ribbon. Okay, but now I can make things sized the way I want to here. What does the fleshy part of the thumbnail look like? Okay. I think I want her thumb to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to adjust that size accordingly. And I think that means I need to make her finger just a little bit slimmer here. And to be fair, there's a lot of perspective shenanigans here, so it won't be easy. But I think I'm making it work. I think this looks pretty okay. And then this thumb will kind of come out this way. Let me go draw that onto the hand layer. I'm just going to have to go back and forth here. It's a bit annoying, but it's for the best. So I'll have a shape like this, where the thumb kind of comes through. And then this is where her fingers are. There'll be another finger like that. This is absolutely not where her palm is. So let me kind of start moving things around. Okay. Kind of get in the knuckles here. And then at this angle, I actually don't think we see her palm at all. The hand looks very small, so I don't think that this is wholly correct yet. Now, we probably see a little bit of her palm kind of through here. But I do think I would like this hand to be just a tad larger. But I do feel like it's holding the spoon. So it's not very well refined yet, but I do feel like it is holding the spoon. So I think that's the first step. That's the first step I gotta make happen. You gotta let it be holding the spoon. Okay. Now I'm gonna try to send the back part of her hand further back. Let it get very skinny. And very round. Don't worry, I'll work out all the curves later. There will be no curves in any of this, you know, much like the drawing with malice. But I gotta start somewhere. And curves are a bit easier for me to read in this particular situation. Okay, this seems pretty alright, and then the rest is just covered by the rest of the spoon. So there we go. I think that this is okay for now. Let's go ahead and get the lines in. Just to separate everything out. I'll even put a few around the nail there. Okay, that seems good. I think I can be happy with this. Maybe not like that. Maybe the thumb needs to have a slightly different shape to it, but there we go. Okay. I do feel like she is holding the spoon. And unfortunately, it's mostly covered, so I don't have to worry about that hard hand, and I am grateful. This other hand, what I think I'm gonna do with it, I think I'm gonna move it kind of underneath here. And I'm gonna let it be smaller so it looks a little further away. The big thing is that I absolutely cannot let any of the fingers come outside of the screen, because this is going to be another transparent image, just like Malice's was. So I gotta be careful with these things. Maybe something like that. I'm gonna make the fingers look a little bit better here. Let me see, which finger is that? I have the spoon, and okay, so the thumb will be coming toward the viewer, so this will be an index finger. Okay, so maybe something like this. I think that looks pretty cute. I'm gonna let the pinky kind of stick out a little. Just being fancy, sticking out her pinky. Yeah. I gotta be fancy when you're force-feeding people cake. Yes. Very important. I don't feel like I have to draw the nails for this one at all just yet. I will by the end, because, you know, there will be some nails showing, like, right there, for example. But I'm not having any trouble at all reading these fingers, so I don't feel the need to add the nails. I'm gonna try to get them a good thickness. Right now they look a little sausagey, but, you know, that's okay. I will go and make them look nice a little bit later. I don't think it's super important yet. I just want to make sure I know where they're going to go. And I think this looks okay for now. And I think that is exactly what I will do with this hand. Okay. So I'm feeling a little bit better about everything, so let's go turn the rest of her body back on. And now I have to decipher the rest of this nonsense. Good luck. Okay. So I think this arm frill that I have going on here is actually going to be super helpful. I think it'll save the day. Because it's going to be one of those things that'll make it really easy for me to show where her hand is. So I'll have a nice solid color there. And I am going to perspective it. I mean, as you can see, I think today's, I don't know, a general thing is just I did not go hard enough on the perspective in a lot of places last time. And now I have to kind of fix that. And drink lots of water to power up properly. Okay. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We're gonna get this kind of wrapping around where I think the hand is. And the hand will partially overlap it. And I have to remember that there's actually two belt ribbon things. Are they just ribbons? Oh no, they are just ribbons. Why did I think that they were belts? Well, whatever. I'll leave them red for now. I have to remember that there's two there. And the other one is just kind of underneath her hand. That's kind of how I'm interpreting all this. So, there's probably going to be another one, like, wrap it around like this. I'll just go back to pretending that they are belts for the time being, because that's easier for me to understand right at this moment. So I'm going to make sure that this is wrapping around properly. I'm not too worried about the frills just yet. Soon. Soon I will be. And I'll probably just turn this entire thing white when the time comes. But right now, the red is useful to me. So I'll leave it like that. In fact, I think I'm going to kill the frills for now. I am going to focus solely on getting this little sleeve-like thing in exactly the right spot. Okay, so this is where I have a slight contradiction in things. I might have to thicken up the backside of the spoon. Just because I don't think I want her body to be quite like that. I'll have to think about it. I'm just gonna keep drawing what feels natural, but what made me think about it was I kind of felt like at the current angle, I might have to do something like this with the arm. And I don't know, it feels a little bit strange. But you know what? I'll give it a try. I'll put the extreme perspective in the arm, and I'll see how that affects the rest of her body. And we'll see what happens. Today, well, you know, as always, there's got to be some experiments happening. I feel like there's always some amount of experimentation going on whenever I draw something. I don't know, I just always like experimenting and trying new things and figuring out a lot of cool ideas and whatnot, because, I don't know, variety is fun. And I don't know if I just want to draw the same thing over and over again. I like being able to just go out and do a bunch of weird stuff and have some fun. I do, truly. what the heck do I do with this arm? Arms, man! This is why I say arms are my nemesis. You know, hands are fine, but arms are terrible, I tell ya. Terrible! Alright. It actually does the frill cover part of her hand. It actually does. Okay. No, so I can't do this quite like I was expecting. Arm frill has to go on top of the hand. And then... the downside to using so few colors like this is that anytime I want to do something, I can barely see what I'm doing. Alright, let's get this wrapped around her wrist properly. I think the wrist is like right here. And then there will be frills coming out. And we see very much inside of this, so I kind of want to round it out more. I want to make sure it's clear that we're seeing inside. Because that hand is coming right for us. Coming right for us. This is just going to be neon yellow for now because it's convenient for me. I will be able to see with colors like this. Okay, and it can go behind the ribbon on the spoon. You know what? That sounds fantastic to me. And then this will go down the arm and wrap around her forearm. I think probably something like that is good. And there'll be some smaller frills coming out the backside. And these we do not see inside of. These will wrap around like that. There we go, and in there. So I think something like that probably makes sense. I think that looks like an arm that is connected. This does not, so I'm just going to redraw the whole thing. It's just not working for me. But at least here I can use the skin tone. Okay, so I'm bringing things to her elbow, which I think is going to be like right there. And then it'll kind of come up to her shoulder and connect right here. And this is what I was afraid of because, man, I don't think that looks very good at all. Yeah, I don't think it looks very good at all. So I'm going to have to mess around with something. And I'm going to have to think about what to do about that. I really, really like this, though. This is fantastic. This is definitely fantastic. Sorry, I keep having to break for water. Man, I really want to work on it, but it's like, man, can my voice handle? Oh, I'll be so sad if I have to stop early. Okay, let's see if I can mess around with the perspective a little bit here. It's like I like where this is going in a lot of ways. The idea is really solid. It's just, can I get away with making it this extreme? God, I love this. This is beautiful. I could base the entire picture around this. And that's what I'm hoping to do. It's just it's maybe this part that I can't go quite as hard on. Because if I make this not go backwards quite as hard, then I don't have to go quite as hard on her arm and various things like that. Basically, I have to make these things match. And you know, that's easier said than done. I'll just leave this orange for now. It's fine. It's totally fine. I will fix the coloring on this later. Okay, we'll see kind of the inside there. I think that's all working. I think I'm gonna make this just a little bit longer. Just a little bit. I don't think I want it to be too much. Let the frill start right about there, because I kind of want to give... This is where her arm goes, basically. And then all this wraps around the hand. And now I think it really looks like we see the inside. So when it comes time to add black and everything here, I think this will look really good. But I think I need this side to be larger. I do feel like the difference between front and back is not quite strong enough here. Okay, that's a little bit better. But the rest I think I'm going to have to do with liquefy. Let's tuck you in and pull you out. Tuck, 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 tuck. Okay. So yeah, something like that, and let's see if I can make the arm look good now. So we'll have this kind of come out. And then she'll have an arm kind of coming back here. I don't know, it's still just not working for me. But unfortunately, I kind of feel like this is the part that I have to figure out next. I do. I don't think I can make the rest of the perspective work until I know how this hand and this arm and everything connects to the rest of her body, because this is all the part that's coming forward the most, and maybe her head too. And everything else is kind of going to be going back. So I really don't feel like I can draw anything else until I figure this out. So I'm going to flail. Sometimes it's all you can do when you're doing something weird and new and exciting. I'm going to hide the arm frill for just a second here, and I'm just going to try to connect her arm with her wrist, and then her wrist into her forearm, and go from there. You know what? That seems like a good idea, too. So it's okay. If one tactic isn't quite working, let's try another. And I think it's safe for her wrist to be bent like that. Kind of lifting it up slightly. Maybe. Yeah. She's kind of lifting up her hand. Yeah, that makes sense. Looks good to me. All right. Rather, I should say this part looks good to me. This part, not so much. I'm still not quite sure what I'm doing there. But I'll figure it out. I always do. So. It's okay. I knew wrangling this was going to be a thing, because it was all really, really messy. And it just very unclear what was happening. And I could not leave it in such a state. Because, you know, that's just how it works. Gotta have it like that. Gotta maximize that clarity. Okay, and then her elbow is like right there. I'm just going to draw this arm normally, and then I'll figure out what I want to do with it. So here we're seeing the side of her shoulder. This is the arm. It's okay. I have found that when doing foreshortening in poses, sometimes drawing things without the foreshortening can help me figure out the foreshortening. Especially if I draw it from the sides. That's why sometimes you'll see me draw weird stick figures out here so I can kind of understand what's happening. So I'm just going to draw this arm normally for a bit. I don't know, do I just let that be the truth? Do I connect it like this? Kind of feel like all I can really do is just try some stuff and see what happens. Because I'm not quite sure. I'm really not. I guess it's not completely awful. I still don't really feel like her arm is going back, though. Which, I mean, of course I don't. I didn't draw it like that. Times like this that I ask myself, do I have sufficient skill level to actually draw what I'm trying to do? I might not. But I'm gonna do it anyway. It's just gonna take a little bit of extra effort for me, and I think that the big thing I need to do right now, I kind of have the arm. So if we have a hand here, right? Hand. What I'm doing is I'm drawing it kind of from the side here. And so, you know, the arm will come back here, and then we'll have an elbow. It's not quite purely from the side here. It's kind of coming out this way. So it's kind of like that. Whereas I think closer to what I want is fingers like this. We still kind of see them from the side. So fingers like that, coming out like this. And then, you know, fingers out this way. In my case, they're like this. With the thumb like this. And I'm doing it like that with the other part of the arm kind of back there. So what I probably want is something a little bit more hand like this. We have a thumb here. The hand is going way back like this. The rest of the arm is going down like that. So we don't see very much of it. And then the arm kind of comes up a little bit more normally. So something kind of like this, where it's, you know, reaching towards us. So that might mean that I need to change the angle of the hand a little bit, and that's okay. I actually don't really mind. So I'm going to grab the liquify tool and kind of push it back a little. Okay, and for now, I'm going to go green mode on the arm. Okay, I guess with her skin tone, it's blue. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that her arm is coming down like this. The elbow is probably going to be like right about there. And then this arm will connect up here. And it's gonna look weird for a little while still. I still got a lot to do to make this work. Like a lot. But as always, you know, that's okay. That is totally fine. I just gotta flail a little bit more here. I think I want this to be just a touch longer. Gonna pull the frills down just a little here. I think this is one of those shapes where it only makes sense to me right now, but that's okay. It could only make sense to me for just a little bit longer. But as I keep going, I think all of you will be able to make sense of it as well. Okay, and then it's gonna kind of wrap around like this. The frills will be very much on top here, so they'll be wrapping around kind of like that. Still not quite enough. Not quite. And I have to remember that this does go on top of her hand. It does. Okay. So let's see. Let's see here. Am I any closer? Does this feel like her arm is going the direction I want it to? I think I am a little closer. I need to go back to her skin tone, though. Okay. So this means that her elbow is going to be somewhere like right about here, I think. So it should get kind of thin right through here up until the elbow. And then maybe in theory it can start getting a little bit more normal again. No, I need her elbow lower. I don't have that part of her arm tilted correctly. Please come down a little further. Thank you. I just don't want this part of her arm tilted quite that strongly. I want it to kind of come down here. Come down like this. And up here. Does that look right at all? No, I still really don't feel like I'm selling the perspective there. Okay, I think I'm gonna make the spoon, the backside of the spoon, a little bit less skinny. I don't think I have to move the hand at all or anything. I think I just need to make this a little bit less skinny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide the transparency mask for a second there, and I'm gonna try to match what I have up here just a little bit more. Oh, I have the layer locked. I do not want to have the layer locked right now. Okay. So I'm gonna make it recede into the back just a little bit less. I'll even make it just a little bit longer. So this needs to be bigger. So it's going to be a little bit more of a consistent width going all the way through. And what I actually think is I want the top part to be a little bit thinner too. Basically what matters here is not that I make the bottom thicker, but that I make things more consistent all the way through. And in theory, that'll make the perspective just a little bit less extreme so that maybe I can make the hands work. Or the arms, more accurately. Arms ruin everything, I swear. They do. It is deeply unfortunate. It is deeply unfortunate. Got a cough. Give me a moment. Okay. A little bit better. Just taking a look at the back of the spoon here. It is very, very thin. So I'm going to make the top just a little bit thinner here. I do want it to be a little thicker at the top than it is at the bottom. The bottom I do want to be very thin. Okay, and then all I really got to do is get that circular part into perspective. Because right now it is angled wrong and not matching with the angle of everything else. There we go. That's better. Okay, so that's still a pretty strong perspective. Put the transparency mask back on it. I think I do need it to be a little bit longer. I think I'm gonna move the spoon layer above her head. So I gotta go move it up at the cake. There we go. Because it should be above her ribbons and whatnot. It should. And I see that the transparency mask is being ornery again. So let's just get... Oops, I know, I don't want to mess with the hand. So let's get that in there, and then I'm just going to lock it, so hopefully Krita stops trying to do weird things with it. It's like, no, when I use selections and stuff, I really don't want to be messing with my transparency mask. I just want the hand to be cut out. And that's it. That is all that transparency mask's got to do. That is it. Okay. And you know what? I still think this looks okay. So hopefully that'll mean that I don't have to make the perspective around the arm quite as strong, and then maybe I can actually get it connected up into her shoulder here. And try to make that make sense. I think once again, I'm going to try to draw the upper arm in a way that makes sense with the rest of what I've got going on here. So, you know, the sleeve and all that stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to do first, and I will probably have to modify it, but I think I can make more sense of that part of her arm than this part right now. So let's do that. I'm just not happy with anything here. So, okay. If we look at her side view, you can see that her apron here is quite open. Goes down to her waist-ish area, and the frill here is about the same size as her shoulder. So, I'm actually going to go to the apron layer because I think I made the frilly area a little bit too big. And I'm going to push it up a little. It's fine if I break some other stuff in the process. You know, that's inevitable when you're doing large amounts of reconstructive surgery and trying to make sense of everything I drew. It's all good. It happens all the time. So I want to bring this side up a bit too. There we go. And I think this is a better representative of the frilly part. I will need some stuff over here for her side, but you know what? That'll come a little bit later. And I think these frills still look fine. But here we go. Now maybe I can kind of get her arm in there and start making sense of that. I really do like the way the frills there look, though, so I'd like if I could keep it like that. If I could make the rest of this work in a way that lets me keep this and this, I think I'll have a great picture. So that's what I'll be trying to do. You know, like I said, it's very possible that for my current skill level, I can't actually do this very well, but that's never stopped me before. So I'm gonna keep trying. Because I do want to learn how to do stuff like this. I think that this stuff is really cool. This is what I want to do. And learning new things is hard. Extremely hard. But you gotta do it somehow. And I'm pretty sure this is why I've always been really slow at drawing, because, you know, I just get an idea or something I want to try. And even if it's not something I can really do yet, I do it anyway. I think it's a good way to be. Perhaps a bit frustrating sometimes, though. But no, I think I can make this work. I do feel like I am getting closer. I just don't think I can make this as extreme as it currently is. I might just have to redraw the trail there in its entirety. Alright, I'm going to invert my colors here, because I want to be able to see a little bit better. And so this needs to connect over here, according to what I did for the other part of her arm. And if I grab white to mark the elbow here, then when I invert the colors again, it will be black, and that's what I want. And I will not chicken out and hide the arm or anything. I will draw it. I will draw the whole thing. And I will get it the way I want it to be. And what the heck is that? That is the hand. Okay. I believe in myself. God, I love this idea, though. I just gotta get it to work. Just gotta get it to work. Still not quite looking right is the thing. It's really hard because this hand is really far forward, so I need the arm to be really big. But if I make the arm really big, it doesn't feel like it's connecting with the hand properly, and it's all very complicated. And nothing is going my way here. So I'm gonna try to make the arm a little bit bigger and like it's going behind the hand. I mean, I think it makes sense at this angle. It might not, though. I like the way the hand looks so far. This might be a point where I just kind of have to look somewhere else for a bit. I mean, I did say that I'm pretty sure I can't really feasibly move on until I get that arm right, and I do think that that is accurate, unfortunately. But the other thing I think I can do is get this arm right. So I'll go ahead and do this arm for a little bit. I'll look away from this for just a little while. And maybe I'll draw out the rest of the hand. Just to give myself an idea of what's going on. But for now, you know what? I think that's a good idea, actually. I'm going to draw out the rest of that hand. This figure is tilted more this way. I'll kind of draw out this hand somewhat. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, though. And then we'd have a thumb kind of underneath here. Okay, and now I should be able to connect it to the arm back there. Arms are hard. Like I said, they are my art nemesis. Their tubular nature just gets to me every single time. And every time I try something new and exciting, it's always the arms that get in the way. Always, man. I can handle hands, but arms never do what I want. And like here. Definitely not working. Fortunately, I think that this is easy to deal with because all of this is going to be behind things. And I don't really have to worry about it that much. I just want to make sure it's connecting up at the top the way I feel like it should. Okay. And arm frill here. So this goes around the hand, which is going to be over here, and I don't think it shows at all. So I'm just going to get rid of it. I guess I'll put a little bit of orange where I think it would wrap around here. And then we get a frilly bit here. And a frilly bit here. And if any of this shows with the spoon layer on, I will go ahead and draw it properly. Why are you in the cake group? Spoon, you are not a cake. There you go. But yeah, you can see it. None of it shows, so I can just kind of fake the rest of her arm there. You know what? With as hard as the other arm is, I'm just gonna take it. I'm not gonna worry about it. This arm does this. That is where it goes, and you know what? I think it looks just fine like that. Don't worry about how this hand is getting here. It works. Okay. So, I'm kind of back to this arm. Look, I'm just very afraid of doing anything with her chest area right now. Because I don't know if I have to... How absurd I need to make the perspective there without knowing how her hands and arms work. Because if I make her arm like super skinny back there, that's going to completely change what I have to do to this area. So that's why I feel like I have to get this first. And I don't feel like I can do any more on her face and head until I figure that out, because otherwise it's like, how big do I make her head? How big can I make this side, and how small can I make this side while having it still make sense? And, you know, it's all very hard. I gotta blow my nose again. Just give me a moment. Okay, that's better. Oh, I'm sorry. I really am. I still wanted to come and draw today because I really like doing that. But man, I just hate being sick. It is the absolute worst. Okay. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a little bit more of this hand. try to make sense of it, and then figure out how I can connect it to the rest of her arm here. Because what I'm seeing is if I, you know, we draw a hand from the side. So we have hand, we have thumb. It's kind of sticking out there. It's a fairly simple thing. Her hand is going up. It's actually going the other direction. I should draw it like that. So I'll draw the thumb on this side because the hand is going the other direction. Is it? No, it's not. It's going this direction. What am I talking about? The thumb's on this side. Okay. And the arm is coming down. And then going up like this. So this is basically what I'm trying to draw. And if I were to draw it straight from the front, we'd get hand here, we'd get thumb here. They'd be connected. And then this arm would just come back, and it would kind of be below. We'd see something like this. And then it would come out like that. I am getting so much better at foreshortening, I tell you, by doing all these things. And, you know, in the next phase saga picture I do, there's gonna be more. There will always be more, because I like doing it. I just wish I didn't have to draw the arms. But I can't draw super expressive hands without arms. Thus, I must deal with arms, because hands make everything better. Unironically, I think next to facial expressions, hands are the most expressive body part on the body. So, if you want your picture to be expressive, you better include some hands. Anyway. So, that's how it would look there, except I'm kind of doing it from the side. So, we're kind of got something like this going, where then we got the thumb coming out here. And then we have the arm kind of coming down, but because we're seeing it, this isn't even extreme enough. But because we're kind of seeing it like that, it's coming down like here, and yeah, I can't get the perspective right, even in my stupid stick figure. But I want to have the spoon right here specifically. So, okay. If I can't even draw it right in just a basic silhouette, that's a problem. I kind of know what I gotta do, because I know that we get like part of the arm coming over here, and then it's like coming like this. And then we get the hand coming out. No, even that's not quite enough. Let me... kind of like that. That idea. This angle is totally wrong, but that's the general gist of it. So I guess I can probably draw it with circles. But... well, we'll see. I'm gonna hide the spoon and cake again. And I'm gonna dig into that hand a little bit more. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to draw this without really understanding what the hell her hands are doing at this point. Okay. Okay. So what we got here... we got the fingers kind of coming out, then the index finger is supposed to be wrapping around like this. It'll be kind of on the edge of the spoon. I'm gonna hide the arm for just a minute here while I figure this out. So the thumb is a little weird looking. You know what? Maybe I should start with it. So the thumb is pointing like pretty much right at us. I don't know, does it do that? That looks like it's bending a bit weird. I am just looking at cake feeding reference. So here we go. I need to wait for it to get back to this right spot in the loop. Okay, here we go. Right about... Nope, that's too far. It's so fast. So I just gotta get the right frame. Okay. Not quite there. There. Perfect. Got it. Okay. Okay, the thumb is going in the other direction. So it kind of goes around like this. This should come around like that. The nail. I think I want this below the frill layer. It's like that. I think I probably actually want this a little more forward than I currently have it. It's sitting there a little bit flatter than I think I was giving it credit for. Okay, up like this. We're gonna make it nice and pointy now and very nail-like. No, that's not rotated right. Shoot. Okay, let me try that again. Okay, there we go, that's better. I'm going this way. See, this is why I say that drawing the nails always helps me figure out the direction that the finger's pointing. And that's why I like to do it. So from there, I can go back to my hand layer, and I can start kind of putting everything in. So thumb's turning like this. Don't mind the blob, it's all good. This probably means I'm gonna have to change my mask. But it's okay, if I understand what I'm drawing, it'll be worth it. Because that's what I gotta do right now. I gotta understand what the heck I'm actually trying to do. Because I sure don't. This is why I say that I think my next big bit of art growth is gonna be around not kind of faking things anymore, but actually understanding what the heck I'm doing. Because I have been able to fake things for a while. And I would like to stop. Okay, and that's going to change the angle of the fingers a little bit too. So I think this finger goes a little further up there. This will come a little bit up here. We'll have a little gap before we get into the finger there. I'm just going to make it black. That is sufficient information for this, I think. And then this finger will be straight. I'll probably put some nails on it later. So I think this one's doing something like that. What about the other fingers? Yeah. Out like this. Kind of going behind the other finger. And you can see, I'm not being very particular about this at all. The only goal is to just kind of understand what I'm trying to do. And vaguely understanding is enough. It doesn't have to be very neat. And I don't think the pinky is shown at all. This doesn't have a very strong feeling of grabbing yet. And actually, I think that this pointer finger needs to be up closer to where the thumb is. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go back a little, just gonna paint over that. I think the end of the pointer finger needs to be... If the spoon is going kind of between them, I think that the tip needs to be right about here. So that means it should be bending more like right here, I think. Yep, that seems right. And I don't mind just leaving it a little triangle like that. That is totally fine. Okay, and then I can start kind of figuring out the rest. One moment, let me cough again. Man. Okay, so out like that. And out like this. And then I think the pinky is largely hidden. And I think this kind of sums up the hand. I think the fingers are a little bit small relative to the thumb, so I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. But I think this is roughly, very, very, very roughly what I'm going for. And then I just need to bend the fingers, the fingertips a little bit. And I don't think this part of the hand shows at all. I think it is just those fingers. And even the last one, we don't see very much of it all. So just something kind of like this. I think I have mostly made sense of the hand here, and... Where does the arm come out of that? I'm going to turn the arm layer back on now, and let's see here. So the arm will be mostly coming out of the backside, I think. I'm going back to the hand layer here. I'm just going to finish connecting off the palm there, and I'm going to erase the entirety of the forearm here. And what I think that this arm is doing... It's going back like this. It kind of connects up into here and then goes back. I'm not sure if I'm going to let it get that small. But this feels like it's connecting to me now. You know, I've said before that if you're having trouble drawing something, get rid of the things in front of it and draw it on its own, and it can actually help quite a lot. Because I do think it is helping. Okay, and then if I connect in this part of her arm a little bit better. This is still not way too big of a difference between the forearm and the rest of her arm. And then this, I feel like, is not a big enough difference between front and back. So I'm going to try to shrink this part of her arm a little bit. I just got two different bits of perspective here, and it's hard because, like, I have the perspective on her shoulders here, and then I have everything going forward with her hands and stuff. Maybe I just need to make the hand a little bigger. It's okay. I can adjust the spoon as much as I need. I can do that. It's no trouble at all. Let's see. How is this going back? So we have this here. It opens up at an angle. Like this, I think. Like, it's not quite head-on. That would be what that is. But I think it's kinda... It's pretty dang close. So something kind of like that instead. And then, you know, we can connect further back. I can't use black. That blends in too much there. Can I just hide her body for a second and the shape? Just get rid of everything black in this area so I can use black. Okay, and that's still not quite right. I want it to go a little further back. So I'm gonna send it a little further back. Right about there feels correct to me. I would like it to be just a tad longer though, so I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit more. Okay. And now I'm gonna try to connect the arm again and just pray it works, please. Please work. So I'll bring this out here. This will come out here. And we wrap, and I get the black again as I need it. No, it can't connect that high. Okay. But it's okay. I know what to do. Basically, I need her arm to look a little bit more casual. I want it angled downward just a little bit more. Okay, and out. There we go. Gotta try to connect it now. In theory, I hope it works. Okay, and now can I connect this part of her arm without driving myself insane? I think that is the real question. I don't know if I can. Okay, well, so far so good. I'm gonna go turn the rest of her body back on. And I'm gonna get the spoon back. And the cake. I'm going to reconnect her hand to the spoon, so let's go poke at the transparency mask there a little. That will be something like this, I think. I will have to go back and adjust the lighting on the hand, but that's fine. I can do that. I just want the finger to be coming a little bit more on top of it. And I'm actually going to get that before I go back and work on the arm again. Where is hand? Okay, here we are. Put the finger on, and I want this to be angled down a little bit to kind of compensate for that. Okay, let's hide that just a little. Just trying to get the shapes looking nice now. Are you part of the hand? Because if you are, you're not anymore. Yes, you were. Well, like I said, you're not anymore. Okay, I don't know. I feel like she's holding onto that spoon. I think it's fine. I'm gonna have to move this hair. Where is the hair layers? I just want to get rid of it right now, because I don't want to deal with it until I kind of deal with all of this stuff. There's too much stuff to deal with. I was hoping to have everything largely wrangled today, but I always underestimate the terror that is arms and foreshortening. Freaking arms, man. I mean, in the drawing I'm doing of Leia on the other on the other drawing streams, I'm at the point where I'm just like, God, I have to do arms in perspective again. I'm dying. And I am dying. People always complain about hands, but I think arms are just way worse. Always have. Arms are terrible. I hate them. It's a crying shame that they're so useful. I tell ya. Okay. So I do feel like this arm is going back now, but it is not attaching to her shoulder, and I'm just like... spasm. Only way I can describe it. Oh. I didn't delete one of my guides. Let's get that. Okay. You know, I'm glad I caught that now and not later when I'd have to go through all of the layers to find where the heck I did that. Okay. So let's see. I think this part should be connecting like right there. And it should be on top on this side. There we go. So now the arm should come out of there, and I think it kind of does. Can I get a shoulder in? That doesn't look terrible. Let's find out. Okay, I'm gonna go turn on some of my other layers again. I think they are needed. Actually, I think I have them all on now. Okay, not the hair, but... I'm gonna have to do a bunch of shenanigans with the hair, so I'm just gonna go kill it real quick while I'm figuring the rest of this out. And we'll get those nice little parts on a little bit later. What is this then? Chest. Okay. I feel like this is closer than what I've gotten before. It is closer. So that's good. I'm just gonna make it all bigger. Oh, I went too far out. I don't want to mess with this arm. This arm looks okay. I got that arm working for me. So I'm just gonna make it all bigger. Gonna make it a touch smaller. I'm mostly paying attention to the hand here. And then if I go from there and just reattach her shoulder. Let's do it with perspective. Can I do what I want? Or you know what? I need you on a different layer right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna have this guy in a different layer for a little bit while I figure out what the heck I'm doing. But no, I think I actually think I'm getting there now. This is looking okay. So you know what? If it was just a proportion issue, I'm glad. And I actually like the way that her shoulder is overlapping with this frill there. I think that makes sense for the other bits of perspective I have going on. No, I will just let this guy exist on a separate layer for a little bit. Until I start attaching him properly. Okay, and I don't know. Does that look all right? I think I can do a little bit more with the hand. Let's get some of the kind of knuckles in there. And then this is kind of where the thumb is. I think I want this part to wrap a little bit more. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Dude, I'm gonna be so happy if I can get the arms wrangled here. That would be absolutely fantastic. Because my god, they were hard. But no, I think this is looking okay now. I think that's pretty roughly wrangled. I think that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna kind of adjust some spots on her skirt and whatnot. I think this needs to be like coming over here, for example. I'm gonna send it a little further forward there. I'll put a little bit of perspective on him. Not a lot, just a little. Okay, and oh, why are you not moving? Okay, there we go. Don't know what that was all about, but worked out. There we go, and apron thingy, like right there. I think that works. Okay, and now I have just a little bit of time to try to figure out the rest of her body here. But honestly, I think it's okay because I think I can read most of this now. I'm still not sure if her head is right. She's still looking a little bobblehead adjacent there, so I think it's probably still too big. But I was expecting that outcome from the beginning. Yeah, I think hand is looking all right now. We'll just leave her lovely hot pink nail polish on for a little longer. And then I think on her hand that there should be a little bit more of a gap between this part and the rest of the spoon. I'm not sure what this line is for, so I'm gonna kind of get rid of that. Thumb doing something more like this, I think. And I'm gonna hide the spoon again because I need to feel out what the thumb is doing here. How does this connect to the rest of the hand? Like, where is her palm? It's like... it's like this, right? And then we see a lot of the side of this finger. And then over here should be like largely in shadow. It's like, this is the side of her hand, this is the side of the finger. It goes and overlaps with the spoon. This part covers the spoon. And then we see a big opening in there. And this will change the angle of this finger. It should come out a little bit more like this. And come down. And I think it's fine to let this finger cover up most of this one. I think that looks fine. Do I understand what's going on here? God, I just want to get things into a place where I can start rendering next time. But I made things hard on myself again. You know, as I do. Okay. No, I should poke at this until I understand. I just don't think it's going to be any good until I do. It's like my reference image doesn't have the exact same angle. In fact, the angle is fairly different. So that's why I'm feeling like I'm off there. I might go take a picture of my hand for next time and use that instead. But no, I do feel like this hand is looking okay. Like when I hover over this, a little preview comes up, but it's covered by my head. Oh, and frankly, Krita does not, or OBS doesn't like capturing pop-ups from Krita anyways, so I don't think you'd ever be able to see it. But no, when I take stuff off, this feels pretty okay to me. And then we'd have the palm coming back here. So, you know what? I'm just gonna fill in everything here. And I don't know, I think this is probably alright. I think this knuckle might be in the wrong spot. But the rest, you know, as issues go, that one's pretty minor. And then the rest of the hand kind of continues down like this. And I guess this side should probably come out just a little bit more. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the arm and push it back just a little. Oh, no. Only this part of it. Going to push it back just a little. And then, let me clean up the edge here. It's just bothering me. Gonna take you and just angle you a little bit more nicely. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like she's holding the spoon. Did I draw everything backwards? I did. I hate everything. She has two, what hand is that? Left hands. No wonder I couldn't get anything right. Oh my god. I can't believe I did it again. All that, I have the freaking hand backwards. I'm just gonna have a minor crisis here. It'll be fine. It happens all the time. I am an artist. So, you know, a mental crisis just kind of comes with the territory. I'm so sad, though. Okay, well, I guess I better turn the hand around. Alright. You know, no wonder I could never get it right. I thought the hand was looking okay, though, so... It would be if it was this hand. I drew it backwards. Okay. Nothing to be done about it. I just gotta redraw it. So I'm gonna go delete the nail here. And yes, she is using the other hand. I did not know that Bibi was left-handed. Well, she's right-handed in my picture because I've already drawn it this way. How does one hold a spoon? Okay. Show me how you hold the spoon. Okay, and at the angle that I'm at, I'm just gonna have to make a new transparency mask. This one is absolutely no good anymore. Okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and draw the hand first, because that was working. I'm still so mad at myself for drawing the hand backwards. I spent all that time trying to figure out what was wrong here, and it's just the hand is freaking backwards. Why are you so dyslexic? God damn it, brain. Okay. It's okay, it'll be easier to draw like this because I don't have to draw a thumb. The thumb is probably the hardest part of the hand for me. So, all I really gotta do... I'm just gonna fill all this in. And I'm gonna... kind of clear some shapes here. We're just gonna clean all this up because it is a huge mess. Okay. So, the fingers will be going like this instead. All right. And we'll get something like this. I think I want it to bend here, a little bit higher up. Okay, and I'll just kind of repeat the pattern. It's kind of rolling downward. Okay, and then at the bottom here... the pinky will just like barely show. It'll be just kind of like this. I could have her stick her pinky out. I don't think I want to. And it'll just be like that. Okay, now I can turn the arm back on. And I think that is sufficiently hand-like for my tastes. I do need to actually give her a palm, though. So that'll be something like this. I think I want this one to bend a little bit higher up. We'll leave a little sliver for where we see part of that finger. I think that looks good. Please bend a little higher up. I'm still not quite happy. There we go. See, I told you this pose is way easier than what I was trying to do before. That's why I'm mad. Because look, I could have made it this easy. But for whatever reason, I thought that I had to draw the thumb, and I totally did not realize that I was drawing her whole hand backwards. And I am upset. I was working so hard, man. Okay, and then the thumb will just be on the other side. I don't have to draw it. Okay. Now then. Gonna move this up here. And spoon. And cake. And now I angle the hand correctly. Now that I have the spoon back on. It'll be kind of like that. And I will let the first 2 fingers, or no, just the first one, right? No, at this angle I think it's the first 2. I'll let the first 2 fingers come through. Yeah, there we go. The rest will just kind of sit on the palm there. And now I adjust the palm and the wrist accordingly. Because everything's got to kind of come down this way a little. How do I attach this, actually? You know, that's a good question. Let's add the spoon and the cake again. Yeah, that's why I said that's a good question. I probably still have it bending the wrong way, huh? I think I might be too brain dead to draw a hand. Unfortunate. Okay. But on the bright side, I think I do have the arms connecting well, so once I feel like I am up to drawing the hand, I should be good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave these layers on real quick. And I'm gonna spend just a little bit of time wrangling her body. So I'm gonna try to get that into place. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get things to a state where I can get the head. But it's okay, I can get this started. And frankly, I don't think it's that far off, is it? Oh, I think this looks pretty alright, actually. I'll just get where her chest is gonna go in there. I'll make sure that I have the last frill here drawn. These frills are messy, but I think they look okay overall. I'll shape this one a little bit more nicely. Okay. Yeah, I think that should all be fine. We'll have some frilly parts in there. Let me see. I'm just going to kind of erase everything there for now. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. That's a good spot for the for the little heart-shaped boob window there. I think that's pretty good. It's a little small, so I will make it a little bit bigger, but I think that's a good location. It is a good start, you could say. Let's go down to the body layer. I'm just going to make everything in there black for now. It's easier to see. So I'm just going to make everything black for the time being. And when I'm ready to kind of finalize things, I can go through and fix the colors. But I gotta do one thing at a time. Okay. So let's go and make this nice and heart-shaped. It is quite large though, isn't it? Do I have it big enough? So basically what we got is we got a seam kind of running across here. So I think it'll be something like this. And this actually goes on top of it. So I need you to, like, get really big. I didn't even color in enough black spots. It's okay. I still feel like I can see. But this will be fine. Just fine. I meant for you to be white. God, I'm still just so sad. Oh man. Art is hard, by the way. I do stuff like this all the time, so you know, if you run into issues where you just spend a bunch of time working on something and then you just realize, oh no, I'm just stupid. You know, you're not the only one. It happens to me way more often than I like to admit. It's always just really unfortunate when it happens. It was indeed. Okay, so here, this will actually be going kind of under the frills. And then the frills will be on top of this. So let's get those in there. And I think that there's like one more kind of sticking out right here. Go in kind of like this. A little bit more of a sharp angle on this one. So I'll clean this up just enough for me to understand what's going on. And then I will move on. That's the general gist of how I work. We are not in full render mode yet. Not yet. It is not yet time. But I do feel like, despite everything, I still made a pretty good progress. Yeah, and I do feel like these frills look like they're kind of pointed toward the viewer. I think I could go a little bit harder on that right here. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Okay. And these ones I think are probably fine for now. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn her head back on. I will let her arms come back too. Okay. So, yeah, the hand's not working. Unfortunately, did not work things out there. I'm going to adjust her head a little bit, though. Do I use a transparency mask on her head? Why? Seriously, why? I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of it. If I feel like I need it again, I'll put it back. But as far as I can tell, it wasn't doing anything, so... The big thing is that I really do want her head to be coming further forward than it currently is. I want her to be looming over us a little bit, you know, because she does that in that intro screen. She leans forward, and it's very cute. And I just want to make it ominous at the same time. So how do I do that? Do I just need her shoulders sitting higher on her head? I think I do, actually. So if I take her whole body here and just lift things up. Okay, but not the transparency mask. Transparency mask stays. Okay. Perhaps. Perhaps. Get everything sitting on her shoulders a little bit better here. Okay, but yeah, that might actually be something. I'm probably gonna have to stop with a lot of my perspective shenanigans here. Okay, but if I did that, I would have to move her hands a lot. But I do like it. I do. She looks very hunched over, but you know what? I think it works. Maybe just a little bit higher up. Okay. And I'm gonna hide her hands again. And from here, I'm gonna figure out where her chest should be. And I'm gonna hide the spoon. And the cake. And I kind of want her chest going a little bit further down if I'm gonna embrace this angle. And I like this angle. So I think I will. I just have to find the layer that it's on again. So for that, I'd want this to be like way down here to the point that I think it would actually be easier just to draw it. So we will bring her chest much further down. I still don't want it to be too big. So I'm going to have to watch for that. I'm going to get rid of some of these white things on her skirt, just so I can see a little bit better. See, this is why I was hesitant to mess with the size of her head. Because I kind of figured that I'd be changing some things like this. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna go fix her body. I'm actually gonna put the skin tone back in. I will be putting in some black, but I want some of the skin tone back in. Why are you panicking? Do I have transparency mask shenanigans? Is there should be none there. Okay. That's all it was. Okay, and then the ribbon here, it goes there, kind of the top of chest. Yes. Right about there. All right. Now I'm going to put in the black. I'm going to get rid of the skirt here. And I'm going to add it back in over here. Okay, the belts on her waist. I want to give them a little bit of attention. Where is her waist here? I do think it is still kind of around here. I do think that that is accurate. But I think we only see one of them. I think the other one is like right about there. Okay. So I think that's a pretty convincing lean. And with the way the perspective is, I think I actually have this breast a little bit too large. And this one not quite big enough. So I'm gonna, break out my perspective tool again. I do wish I was up for hands just so I feel like I could get the rest of this done, but ooh. I do not have it in me right now. Being sick is the worst. I hate it. I really do. So I hope I feel better soon. This way I can draw better things, and, I'd say stop drawing hands backwards, but no, I know myself. That's going to keep happening forever. I just gotta be mindful of these things. It is what it is. Okay, but this is doing what I wanted to do. Strictly speaking, looking at the design, I think I should probably connect this. Just due to the nature of how the apron is. And then I'm gonna make the window here deeper. Gonna go like all the way down here. And this side it'll be kind of rolling on top, and this side it'll be open a little bit more. I do think that is correct. I do. And then I just kind of roll things back up through here. Make this part a little bit rounder. I want it to come out a little bit differently too. Again, you know, much like with Malice, I do think I have to keep her chest and eyes round. Just because I don't think they'd feel right, all kind of squared off. So I'll probably be doing that again here. And then I want just a little tiny dent. Right there, just a small one. Very small. Okay. And I will make this part a little bit smaller. There we go. And I want to revisit my heart-shaped window. I just want to make sure that is doing what it's got to do, because right now I'm not so sure. So I'm going to hide her head. Oh yeah, I need to hide the ribbon as well. And then I'll double check it. Just going to go all the way around and then back to the apron layer to fix up everything. So yes, I like this. All I really need to do is open it a little bit more over here, where it's kind of going back around. Curve this one outward a little, which does mean I need a little bit more body. Oh, it's a transparency mask problem. Okay, that's fine. I'll fix it too. The downside to using transparency masks, I swear, sometimes they cause lots of problems. But it's okay. I still think they're useful. Okay, open up here. Okay. And I will need to adjust the shape of that ribbon, but for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's go turn her head back on. Okay, so far so good. And on skirt-related things, I think I'm just going to add a black spot going all the way around here. I will clip it. Everything below. But this way I'll have an easy time separating all that, and I do think that it is highly visible. And I think I have a decent lean, and it should look really good, you know, once I'm actually able to draw the hands correctly. But no, I think this is pretty good. Unironically, the head might still be a little bit big. I don't think I'm going to touch it any further today. But, man, fixing those few things that I did, I love the spoon. I love it so much. So, I will try very hard in order to match things with the spoon. And I think I want a little bit more weird fisheye perspective on her face. So, by that, I don't know if I want to mess with her head. But, the short version is I just kind of want to do a little bit more of this. Yeah, I guess I can just do quick transforms. I mean, it's gonna make her head a little bit mutant. That's fine, I'll fix it next time. And then this I will send much further back. And the nose much further forward. Just kind of shape that a little bit. And yeah, so something like that. I kind of like that. It was a simple change, but that's kind of what I'm going for. I wanted to do some actual like fisheye perspective stuff because I think it looks super rad. And if I can pull it off, I will be very happy. And I think for this to work, I actually want to send her hair out a little further and then send this side like back. Because that's kind of what fisheye does. It rotates things heavily around a point, and that point is like going to be her eye and the spoon and stuff. So let's just emphasize some curves around her hair a little bit here. I will be turning all of these into straight lines at some point, but you know what? That is a problem for future me. Current me can deal with all the curves. So yeah, you know, something like that. Her head, probably still a little bit too big. But I don't want to think about the size of that right now. I think I want to save that for next time. So I'll go ahead and stop here, and next time, I'll fix the hand. That'll be first order of business. And from there, yeah, finish the rest of the weird perspective. And then maybe I can start cleaning up the face. I'd like that a lot. I really like where this is going. It's just gonna take a little bit of effort for me to figure it out. Oh my god, do I love where it's going. I think it is fantastic. Through the hand. Part of me still kind of wants to die. Like someday I'll stop doing that. I'm not sure if I believe, but I can pretend. But for now, you know, this is where I'll be stopping for today. So, thank you all for coming. Merry Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll be out for tomorrow for Christmas festivities, which means I get to hold off on trying to figure arms out on Leia for another day. So I don't have to do arms 2 days in a row and melt my brain. Yay! But more importantly, I get to watch my kids open presents. I think they have way more fun with Christmas than I ever did. Well, no. That's not true. I had a lot of fun at Christmas when I was a little kid. But they have a lot more fun at Christmas than I do now. So it's just way more fun to watch them. I could probably take or leave presents at this point. But they get so excited. And it is so cute. So, have fun. And I still hope you're able to make something wonderful, you know, both today and tomorrow. And just, you know, go out there. Enjoy life a little bit. Even if your family annoys you, just be grateful that their presence exists enough to annoy you. Yes. Could be worse. Unless your family is just that bad, and you're not going to go see them at all. You know, what do I know? But I'll see you all Friday. Bye-bye.